Back to Brad Lamb joining us, addiction specialist and founder of Breathe. It is a life healing center. Also with us, Mason Tvert, communications director of the Marijuana Policy Project. All right, Mason Tvert, let's first ask you, what is the Marijuana Policy Project? What is that? And do you get paid by them?
Well, yeah, that's my job. Our goal is to end marijuana prohibition and replace it with a system where marijuana is regulated and taxed and treated similarly to alcohol. It's a system that a majority of Americans now think would be a much preferable system to the one that we have.
Okay, and again, in a nutshell, if you could, you think marijuana should be legalized because why? I mean, you do know it's addictive, highly addictive, right?
Well, marijuana's addictive properties have been found to be actually pretty mild compared to not only alcohol and tobacco, but even caffeine. So, you know, the question is this.
So are you admitting that it is addictive?
Adults, Nancy?
You do admit that it's addictive.
Yeah, so is sex, so are video games. The thing is that
well,
you do not like the people that use marijuana.
I disagree with you.
You just don't like people who use marijuana, and you want to see them punished.
That's not it.
But the fact is that they're normal people just like you. They enjoy using marijuana for the same reasons people like having a drink after work, and they shouldn't be made criminals for it.
Actually, Brad Lamb, the reason I'm against the legalization of pot is because I've seen too many felonies. And I don't mean pot sales or growing pot like this guy up in Connecticut. I mean people on pot that shoot each other, that stab each other, strangle each other, drive under the influence, kill families, wipe out a whole family. The first time I ever had a pot case...
You sound like you're from the 1930s.
This female...
No, but I have to...
Hold on, Brad. The first time I ever came in the first case, it was a plea. And there was this gorgeous lady standing in the middle of the courtroom crying. And I didn't understand. I said, well, what is this case? Somebody else was taking a plea, and they said she's a stockbroker. She got addicted to pot. She ended up losing her job, wrecked her car, couldn't make the house payments on her house. So her husband got custody of the children. So now she has no car, no house, no family, nothing.
And the advocates for pot, to your point, sir, that's advocating pot, is they're so thin-skinned. On one hand, they're saying, hey, it's no big deal. It's not as addictive as alcohol or meth. It doesn't wreck as many lives. And then I have all these moms over here with whom I work, and on Twitter, Nancy, who have said, you know, this has wiped out our family. This has caused a lot of pain and suffering in the lives of our loved ones. So the pot advocates have terribly thin skin, and I think there's really the pot profit motive that he's really advocating for more than anything.
Brad, let me ask you a question.
And pot does wreck a lot of lives.
Sir, I work for a nonprofit organization. You're a treatment specialist who gets paid because people get referred to treatment when they get arrested for marijuana. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. There's no evidence that marijuana leads to violent, aggressive behavior.
When they're addicted.
Let me correct you, Mr. 9%. According to the Institute of Medicine, according to the Institute of Medicine, about 9% of people who try marijuana become addictive. Compared
the moral or ethical core of the work you do, sir. You know, just because you have a nonprofit doesn't mean that you're doing meaningful work. Anybody can have a nonprofit.
Sir, give me a break. Come on. The fact is that a majority of Americans are on my side because your side cannot come up with a legitimate argument for why we should keep criminalizing adults
but if your
for using a less harmful
it's not
substance
as bad
than alcohol.
as meth or alcohol, that's a ridiculous
Do you drink, sir? Do you consume alcohol?
I
Do you consume alcohol?
I've been clean and sober for 11 years.
You don't. You never drink. You don't hang out with people who drink. You absolutely are sober.
I do.
Well, you are one of the 10% of Americans like that.
Well,
do you think
you know what, Brad, I guess that makes
addiction.
you and me complete space aliens because the last thing I want is for the children, my twins, to see me boozing it up. I mean, when my husband drinks Diet Coke, Brad, I make him put it in an opaque plastic cup. I don't even want them to see him having soda, okay? If they want to make those decisions when they're 18, that's their decision. Yeah, you know, you do have thin skin,
Mason is incredulous.
you seem like you
I'm
can't believe somebody
perfectly
can live
thick-skinned. If you
without
can see
drinking or
me, you
being
can tell.
high.
I mean, the thing is, you guys are spewing these claims from the 1920s and 30s that have been debunked by the largest health and science organizations in the world.
But
the World
Mason,
Health
that's a lie.
Organization, the Institute of
National
Medicine
Institute on Drug
disagree with
Abuse
you.
Has a study that is
which
a
is the
recent
most
study,
politicized federal
Okay,
agency
cut
around.
Mason's mic because Brad can't get a word in.
It talks that pot is less addictive than meth and alcohol, less addictive than nicotine. But for those who it has a profound negative effect, it screws their life up, Mason, and addiction does result with folks that get addicted to pot.
Brad, I normally agree with you, but I think you and Mason, where's Mason? Where's Brad? I think you're
Mason
both.
went away.
I think you're both missing my point, and that point is you seem to be offering me only a life where I've got to be drinking booze, or I've got to be smoking, or I've got to be high on pot. And you know what? I really think there's a different way to live.